Hi, Natalie Wood. One of my favorite books is Marjorie Morningstar. I just had the chance portraying Natalie Wood was perfect. Beauty, talent, and Hollywood stardom. She went from kid star to leading woman and was one of the most beloved actresses. Her life behind the camera was heartbreaking. Her marriage to Robert Wagner was a roller coaster. Love, jealousy, and bitter secrets. That one night in 1981, a boat, alcohol, and a mystery leaving everyone wondering what occurred. Now, decades later, Robert Wagner eventually spoke, shocking everyone. Everyone will reveal her rise, heartache, and truth. Sad night. Natalie Wood's youth. Natalie Wood was born in San Francisco, although her name was Natalie on July 20, 1938. Zacharino. Maria and Nicholas, her parents, were from different backgrounds. Regions of Russia and Ukraine. Her mother, Maria Zudaliva, was married. First marriage produced daughter Olga. In 1930, they migrated to America. Her dad, Nicholas Zacharino, from Uzhhorod, has endured much. His father died in a Russian Civil War street skirmish. He and his family fled to China and then to Vancouver. The U.S. was their destination. Maria met Nick. Although still married to her first husband, they married in 1938, 5 months before Natalie. A year later, the family transformed to simplify pronunciation for Americans, changed last name to Gurton. When Natalie was around 4, her family moved to Santa Rosa, California. That move altered everything. A film crew saw her in town while shooting. She quickly headed touristing to fame. RKO altered Natalie's name to Wood. Executives. They liked how it sounded for Hollywood and honored Sam Wood. Her younger sister Lana, born in 1946, became an actress under the name Lana Wood. Natalie's narrative had twists from the start. Twists and things were just beginning. Child actress years. Natalie made her film debut at age 4. She played a minor role in 1943's The Moon is Down. After that, she appeared in another Happy Land short. Though director Irving Pitchell noticed something exceptional in her little roles, he kept in touch and advised the family to bring Natalie to Los Angeles for a screen test. Natalie's mom didn't hesitate. She relocated her family to LA. Her dad didn't like it, but her mother wanted Natalie to be famous. Was stronger. Lana, her sister, said Pell wanted to adopt Natalie that he trusted her so much. Natalie made a good score at 7. Appear opposite Orson Welles and Claudette Colbert in Tomorrow is Forever, but there was one. She played a young German orphan after World War II. Problem. Natalie couldn't command tears. Her mother fixed that. Anything surprising. She dissected a butterfly in front of her. It worked, and Natalie cried for it. Orson Welles subsequently said she was skilled and terrifying. Natalie acts unscripted. He stated she acts heartily. While working with Pitchell, she played Jean in The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, daughter of Tierney. Miracle was her most renowned child role. 1947 34th Street. The small girl she played didn't believe in Santa Claus until she met a possible real one. The movie became a Christmas classic after its success. Even Macy's invited her to participate in their Thanksgiving Day parade. After then, she was among the top Hollywood child stars. Young Natalie got no break. She kept performing daughter parts in multiple films. This actress appeared in almost 20 films. Child and appeared on Kraft Theater and Chevron Theater. While she attended school daily while working on sets, California law required 3 hours of daily schooling for child performers. Natalie took it seriously. She received straight A's and excelled in arithmetic. Director Joseph Maney adds, "In all my years in the business, I never met a smarter Muppet. I always felt awful knowing the team was waiting for me to finish my 3 hours. I dashed to the set once the teacher let us go." Her mom managed her career tirelessly, even when Natalie had agents. Parents Magazine ranked her the most talented at 9. Her childhood may have looked like a dream, but life was complicated behind the camera. Natalie stayed relevant throughout her teens. Like some kid stars, but her career changed. Her first major appearance as a teenager was Rebel Without a Cause in 1955. She worked with James Dean and was nominated for an Oscar. As actress, she appeared in John Ford's The She starred in Searchers in 1956, gaining renown. West Side Story, 1961, and Gypsy, 1962, too. Legendary musicals. Natalie proved she wasn't only Ash received 2 additional Oscar nominations for her serious acting. Finest Actress, Splendor in the Grass 1961. Natalie was busy in the 1960s as she appeared in The Great Race, Inside Daisy Clover, Sex, and The Single Girl, Bob and Carol, Ted and Alice. These movies are condemned. Her lovely, seductive, strong, and other roles helped her rise in public eyes. People adored her for being broken. Critics felt her career demonstrated it meant to grow up as a woman in changing America. Few actresses that effectively played children to mature women on that made her special in Hollywood. Yet her career looked perfect. Her personal life was complicating. Love, motherhood, slowing down. Natalie Wood's personal life was busy. The first Natalie marriage was to Robert Wagner in Scottsdale, Arizona, on December 28, 1957. Natalie was just Wagner was famous to the public at 19.2 beautiful. Young stars living the dream appeared like the perfect pair. The early 1960s saw murmurs that things weren't as perfect as they seemed. Several reports said something was wrong. Natalie revealed that Wagner had an affair with another man, shocking everyone. June 20th, 1961, saw the pair split. Whether they split a year sooner or not, their marriage ended. Broken up, they divorced on April 27, 1962. Not only did it increase the headlines, Hollywood couldn't stop talking about Natalie, and Natalie focused on Wagner after their divorce, which would continue for years. She married after dating several famous men. Natasha was born to British producer Richard Gregson. In that marriage terminated in 1970, and by 1972 Natalie returned to Wagner, who remarried her on a Malibu yacht in July. Courtney was born 2 years later. In the 1970s, Natalie selected to retire. She has acted since infancy. Slowing down in cinema didn't stop her from focusing on family, acting in only 2 films that decade but appeared in more. She was notable in the 1979 TV adaptation of From. Her latter roles include Golden Globe-winning Here to Eternity. Natalie's characters were more mature and sophisticated as she grew. So did her roles, critics noticed. Image of American women. Natalie no longer played lovely child or rebellious teen. She played strong, complex mothers, wives, and professionals. Her life experiences inspired her acting. Her presence lingered after she left prominence. Natalie is looking for love again after Wagner's divorce. Her personal life remained public as she dated some prominent Hollywood males like Warren Beatty, Michael Caine. Each partnership received attention. Gossip. In 1965, she engaged Venezuelan shoemaker. The engagement ended when Natalie's heart seemed to go. Always look for something solid. On May 30, she married British producer Richard Gregson in 1969 after dating him for nearly 3 years. She seemed happy finally. Even so, they had Natasha on September 29, 1970. Just over a year later, Natalie filed for divorce, finishing it in April 1972. She briefly dated had other plans for rising California politician Jerry Brown, who would ultimately become governor. Other intentions for Natalie. By January 1972's she rekindled her love for Robert Wagner despite everything that had happened, brought them back together like they couldn't be apart. Two remarried on the Ramblin' Rose yacht on July 16, 1972. Their daughter Courtney was born 2 years later on Malibu. March 9, 1974. The world saw Natalie and Wagner had reconciled, but rumors would never end. Complete disappearance, and new stories would emerge. The strange death of Natalie would permanently affect their image. Natalie Wood. On November 29, 1981, the world received startling news that was 43 when she died on a weekend vacation to Santa Catalina on her husband Robert Wagner's boat, the Splendor. The group sometime. Her Brainstorm co-star Christopher Walken and boat captain Dennis Davern were on board, but on November 28, Natalie disappeared. The next morning, about a mile from the boat, her body was found floating. Wagner reported finding an inflatable dinghy beached nearby. Autopsy investigators that Natalie wasn't with him when he went to bed. Questions arose. Revealed arm and body bruises and a left cheek abrasion, but none could explain how or when. Captain Davern later claimed Natalie, and Wagner argued that night. Wagner denied it. But in Pieces of My Heart, he admitted it. He admits arguing before she disappeared. Natalie's blood alcohol was 0.14%. Painkillers and motion sickness medication were found in her system. These drugs would have exacerbated her alcoholism, said L.A. County Coroner Thomas Nguchi. It declared her death accidental drowning and hypothermia and indicated Natalie, who had been drinking, may have fallen off the dinghy. But many, including her sister Lana, never accepted Lana's statement that Natalie was waterphobic and Natalie would never have left the yacht alone. She said that a nearby boat's witnesses said they heard a woman pleading for help that night. But the case was quickly concluded that shuttered, leaving decades of mystery. Natalie was buried on December 2nd, 1981 at Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery, Los Angeles. 3 days after the coroner's office closed the case, the mystery persisted in 2011, 30 years. After her death, the case was revisited. Dennis Davern, the boat captain, confessed to lying to authorities during the first probe that he reported a furious argument between Natalie and Wagner that night. He said Wagner was jealous and enraged because Natalie flirted with Christopher Walken. Diver said Wagner prevented him from using the yacht's searchlights or asking for help after Natalie left. He even suggested Wagner killed Natalie. Natalie's sister Lana alleged. Davis informed her Wagner shoved Natalie, forcing her to fall overboard. Dennis claimed it appeared to Dennis panicked and said RJ shoved her away and she went overboard. RJ responded, "Leave her." Davern said, "Teach her." Alleged Wagner drank and didn't pursue her until it was too late. Christopher Walken appointed a lawyer and cooperated. He cooperated with investigators, but was never a suspect. L.A. County Chief Coroner amended Natalie's death certificate reason. New report altered death cause from accidental drowning to drowning and mystery circumstances. Detectives informed the coroner's office Natalie's water entry was unclear. Lana kept pressing for she noticed when she got the initial. Police report discrepancies. Wagner and Walken were questioned for just 10 minutes. Important witness statements were overlooked following Natalie's death in 2009. Lana helped start a petition for a new probe 2 years before it was reopened. Efforts were successful. The LASD restarted the case, indicating there was more information. But after years, one question haunts all reports and theories. What? Everything changed that night for Natalie Wood. That night Natalie Wood died is one of Hollywood's mysteries. Yet many feel the night began pleasantly, but ended tragically on the Splendor. Robert Wagner's reaction to Natalie's disappearance was different than an anxious husband. Captain Dennis Dern said Wagner told him to find Natalie after she disappeared, but Davern advised turning. Wagner denied using the yacht's floodlights and calling for rescue. Davern found that odd, especially since one witness said Natalie was afraid of water and would never take the small dinghy out alone. Night. Marilyn Wayne was aboard an 80-foot boat nearby. Police said she and her boyfriend heard a woman screaming around 11 p.m. "Someone, save me. I'm drowning." The woman yelled for 30 minutes until 11:30 p.m. Marilyn and her boyfriend called the harbor master but got no answer. B.Y. Wagner. They thought it was a joke from another boat. Calling for aid at 1:30 a.m. 2 hours later made no sense to Natalie's sister Lana, who said she would never leave the boat. Natalie was undressed in a nightgown. Several, floating in frigid water in a flimsy nightgown. That information alone was sad and suspicious. The woman who worried the water she lived in drowned her. The night's mystery intensified with additional evidence and testimony. Reopened in. Robert Wagner is suspected. November 2011. Dennis Davern admitted to lying to police during the initial investigation, blaming Robert Wagner for Natalie's murder and that his envy of Christopher Walken, another board member, had caused a fight. Wagner declined to cooperate with the new probe, although Walken did. In the next year, Natalie's death certificate was altered from accidental drowning to drowning in unknown circumstances. In 2018, the case escalated. The Los Angeles Sheriff's Department announced Natalie's death was now being investigated. Robert Wagner became a suspect for the first time. Lieutenant John Carina, the investigation's leader, said Vanner's account didn't fit with additional witness accounts. "Over the last 6 months, we've investigated," Carina replied. "We know he's more interesting now. Last person with Natalie before she disappeared." He added, his investigators tried multiple times, but the tale has changed and the elements don't add together. Carina subsequently claimed, Wagner always declined to be interviewed again. "We want to talk to Robert Wagner. He won't talk to us. We can't force him." Christopher Walken previously said the accident that killed Natalie. "Anyone there witnessed the logistics? Boat. The night. Where we were. That it rained. and would know exactly what Karina claimed she entered the water, but others disagreed that I don't think she plunged alone. That year, additional details from the 2013 Los Angeles Times coroner's report revealed Natalie had recent injuries on her right forearm, left wrist, and right knee, a neck scratch and forehead scrape. Officials suspected she had been abused earlier. Every account darkened the mystery of her drowning. In a 2014 private interview, Robert Wagner speaks. Wagner told Closer his views about Natalie Wood's death, but never to the police, weakly, and expressed his grief at her loss. She was remarkable person to me and my family. Robert discussed their children and how Natalie was Natasha, Courtney, and his daughter's stepmother. Everyone loves Katie, he said. Robert wrote in Pieces of My Heart, 2008, about his first sighting, Natalie at Fox Studios. He was 18, she 10. We didn't talk, but he wrote smiled. Natalie told her mother she would marry him. She did twice. Their 1957 marriage began happily, but fissures quickly appeared. One witness said Natalie yelled, "He's going to at a neighbor's door. Kill me." Years later, Robert revealed his jealousy, especially of Natalie's splendor in the Grass co-star Warren Beatty. "I wanted to kill that jerk," Robert said. He admits waiting outside Warren's residence with a rifle, but never entered. Completed it. Marriage stopped in 1962. They remarried years later, and Robert stated the next years were full of gratitude. However, fresh information showed those years weren't as remarkable. He once claimed peace. A stormy night and smashed bottle. In 1981, Natalie's career resumed. Therefore, she took on lead in sci-fi film Brainstorm. In North Carolina, she filmed. His show Heart to Heart kept Robert in Los Angeles. He felt jealous again. Time of Natalie's Oscar-winning co-star Christopher Walken. His sentiments aside, he invited Walken to spend Thanksgiving on Splendor, their boat, but the holiday soured. Robert was drunk, witnesses said. All day. He immediately wanted to relocate the boat to a quieter area that night. Of the island. Natalie was angry because she couldn't swim. One person on a nearby boat reported Natalie as inebriated and hostile to authorities. Her knees buckled during the struggle. Boat skipper Dennis Davern said Natalie was so mad she packed a bag and requested him to take her to shore. Natalie cried in their hotel room. This, if she warned Davern. If he continues, I'll divorce the next morning. She reappeared, made Robert breakfast on the boat. She sought reconciliation. Later that day, after she and Walken left the boat to drink at a bar. When Robert found them, he felt disregarded. Walker said he focused on his career. He clearly wanted Natalie to live that way, Robert subsequently said. When they got, things became worse on the boat. Robert shattered a wine bottle and yelled. The detective said Robert also asked, "Why the FK? Don't you stay out of her career?" Screaming, "What are you trying to do?" "FK my wife." Natalie said, "I cannot take this anymore." She went to bed. Walken went to his hut. Davern crossed the bridge. Minutes later, he heard a dispute and knocked on their door. Robert replied, looked mad, and commanded him, "Go away." What happened next is unknown. Soon after Natalie left. Confessions, bewilderment, changed stories. Robert told detectives Natalie was straightening her hair last time he saw her, at a mirror. Davern said the pair fought on the deck. Two fresh witnesses supported him, reporting seeing and hearing the argument. The witnesses were believable, according to Detective John Carina. After the silence during combat, no splash was heard. "We heard nothing." Tin Davern returned to the couple's room minutes later. Robert cried, stating Natalie was gone. It seemed weird that he reported it at 1:30 a.m. about 2 hours later. In that time, he drank more scotch with Davern and avoided the spotlight. Search. Natalie was lost when he called the Coast Guard. Apparently, a nightgown, stockings, and jacket were recovered on the body hours later. The neighboring cave had boat's dinghy. Robert thought Natalie. He stood up to tether the dinghy to the yacht after hearing it bang. He said she must have stumbled, hit her head, and fell into the water. Unfastened dinghy, he said it floated away. Carina didn't believe. "It's not huge boat," he said. No one heard the dinghy start or take off. Natalie's sister Lana didn't either trust the tale. In a nightgown, she wouldn't. She didn't get the mail in a nightgown, she said. The original autopsy showed Natalie's bruises, but now investigators suspect an assault. Carina couldn't specify who caused the injury, but we know that Wagner was her last companion. Still open case with quiet witnesses. Wagner rarely discusses that night, but when he does, he's always declared Natalie's death accidental. In 1997, Playboy interviewed him, stated she slept before males. He claimed that those who think there's more will never be happy with truth. Natalie developed a 2020 documentary, daughter Robert Wagner said. He and Walken argued about Natalie's career at her disappearance night. Walken is silent in public, but Wood says he spoke to reopened case detectives. He knows everything he saw, she said, but he made them pledge to keep private what he said. Lana was forbidden to know. Detectives informed her. He told us everything. Watkins' team neither has confirmed nor refuted the story, and the LASD still considers Natalie's death suspicious. Detective Ralph Hernandez stated, her then-husband, Robert Wagner, was Ms. Wood's last known companion before her death, adding, the investigation seeks to reveal how she died. The mystery continues until the truth is revealed. That night's events will haunt everyone. Lana, Natalie's sister, hopes her memoir and ongoing efforts will preserve Natalie's legacy beyond Hollywood star. But as a woman with a full life and a painful ending that still requires, do you think Robert Wagner knows more about Natalie Wood's fate night than he's admitted? After years and additional proof, do you believe Natalie's death will be revealed or kept a secret? Hollywood mystery forever. Comment below and subscribe for more amazing Hollywood stories. Amazing history. See you later.